Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Herler, the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. Today we are doing our second class about Tie Guan Yin and roasting. We did a first one 1 month ago about two samples, a light roast and a medium roast. Today we are going to do the strong roast and the charcoal roast. Before we start, just a few reminders of that it's almost Christmas. I should put my Christmas hat on. It's a bit cold in Taiwan, and like this we're really in the mood for Christmas. It's the last class before next year, because next weekend I'll be away on my way back to France to spend Christmas with my family. So there will be an interruption of 2 or 3 weeks for the classes. I might do a video while I'm in France, but I don't know exactly when, so I will announce it once I'm sure. But definitely not a class, much more like a gathering to maybe show you what Christmas looks like in France. Does it look very much different from my setup here or not? We'll see. So before we arrive to Christmas, we still have 1 week. During this week I'll continue to give away presents to every order. So if you are the top order of the day, you'll get tea tablecloths like this. Actually there are different ones, or a CD. If you are the second one, you might receive teacup, and if there are really lots of orders, then you'll get at least an additional tea sample. So and I will look what you are ordering, so it will be something similar or something that is not too far from what you are ordering. So it's a special promotion until December 22nd, because after that I won't be there to for 2 weeks. It's still possible to order, but it will be a bit slower because it's reduced manpower in Taiwan. So let's go back to our tea. I've prepared here the strong roast and here the charcoal roast. We can start first by having a look at it. They look both quite dark. Of course, the charcoal roast looks almost black, whereas the strong roast is a dark green. And the roast smells are of course much stronger in the charcoal roast than in the strong roast, which also has a much more complex nose. The leaves are rolled, a bit similar to Dongding or Dongding Oolong, but you'll notice that the shape is not as even, not as flat as a Dongding Oolong. It's the Tie Guan Yin, even they are rolled, they look a bit different, they look a bit more uneven. And this probably has to do with the original shape, which is uneven, which is bended on one side, so we'll have a look when we are brewing it. Again, because this is a class to understand these teas, I'm using Gaiwan in porcelain because it's a neutral way to brew the tea. Today is very cold, so it's very important to preheat your Gaiwan very well. Because it's already 10 o'clock p.m. in Taiwan, I'm not going to brew this new. I don't want to have too much caffeine, so I'm going to continue to brew the tea that I made for the French class in the afternoon. This is a strong brew, so we can already see how it opened. And this is the charcoal brew. And in order to give you time to prepare, I will preheat my big cups where I will receive the tea. This is something that you can do in winter. even not just the teapot should be preheated, but also the cups where you are drinking from, especially in the second brew. So I'm going to do my second brew in these gaiwans. Of course, it's difficult. It's not possible to preheat them again. I put them a bit farther away. I can also preheat my drinking cup. So I give you time so that you can preheat your gaiwan at the same time at home. How do I recommend to brew the first brew? With actually quite a lot of strength. In terms of quantity, like for the first time, I recommend a rather large amount for Tie Guan Yin. You can use, usually we say one level, one layer on the bottom of the gaiwan. Here it can be a large layer or almost 2 layers. So this is what it would look like in the palm of my hand. So for the first brew, you can make them turn. Some strength, since these leaves are rolled on themselves, so it will help them to unfurl. And we want to get the most aromas out of the leaves. So it's okay to let them turn, even though they are strongly roasted. But we want really a very strong brew and be able to get them to open up. So this is what I was able to get after just one brew. So they really opened up completely. Okay, by now your gaiwan should be preheated well. You can empty your gaiwan in the receiving cup, and I'm going to brew a second brew. So this one, this. And the charcoal Tie Guan Yin. Here we go. And here again I stir a little bit. And I close. And we are going to wait a fairly long time to get really a strong brew. Tie Guan Yin, as I explained already last time, the characteristic, what we want to get is this Guan Yin. Guan means Mandarin, which means the official of the court who had lots of power and would be sent by the emperor to represent the emperor, to represent his authority, to present justice and take lots of decisions. So he had a lot of power, and he had also made a lot of money being an official in a region, in an administrative region in China. And so Guan Yin tells us that this Green Yun is the aftertaste. The aftertaste of an official is really something very powerful, something also many people want to achieve as a position in life. So they were very motivated to take the exam to become accepted in the public service in the Chinese Empire. So it's both a name that shows that you need a lot of skill to be able to achieve this rank, and it's also a rank that gives a lot of power. So for these two images that come with this Guan Yin, tells us that this is really a very powerful aftertaste, and also a beautiful happy aftertaste. This is what we want to achieve. and that's why we make a rather long brew, and we are using a little bit more leaves than usual. It's also interesting to see that these type of very strongly roasted teas, they have a certain intensity, but this also brings a different pleasure than the lightness that we have in the high mountain aromas. Here it's very, very different. We get to see it very soon. On the side of my lid, I can already tell that this color of the strong roast is lighter than the color of my charcoal roast. I think we can also start to empty our cups. We empty it just before we empty the cup in the gaiwan, because this helps to get the highest temperature. Porcelain loses its temperature quite quickly, so you don't want to leave your porcelain cup empty for such a long time. The shorter time it is empty, the warmer it remains. Okay, so that's why I'm only emptying it now. And I'm also emptying the charcoal roast, which is indeed darker. It will be lighter in the second brew, of course, than in the first, but still we see the difference is the strong brew will have a lighter color than the charcoal brews. Hope you can see it here. So in order to taste, we'll start with the lighter and go to the stronger. You can also smell with the spoon. And now the charcoal. This charcoal Tie Guan Yin has indeed a lot of roasting, a bit burnt smells and woody smells, whereas in the strong roast we have also the similar aromas from the Tie Guan Yin cultivar that we had 1 month ago in the light and medium brew, but this time these similar aromas with this metallic note, they are a bit more intensified, they are even more concentrated. This stronger roast makes them even more concentrated, a little bit sweeter with a warmer note also. Very interesting to see that the leaves from the strong roast, they are quite green. They open up very well. They look very green to me, with a little bit only of oxidation marks on the side. Of course, they will unfurl further with more brews, but they are completely green. Whereas the charcoal brew, the leaves here are now dark black, but what is a good sign of their quality is that they are tender. They are not like plastic and completely still close on themselves. They do open up compared to this. We see that they did open up. And of course the smell of the leaves themselves is really only about roast. The smell in the brew is much more interesting and much more pleasant. So we are able to see how with these new samples of Tie Guan Yin that have two different roast levels, one very strong, one even stronger, that's why I call it charcoal, that the roast does really have a powerful impact on the taste and on the aromas. We see how the Tie Guan Yin aromas are preserved from the light, medium and strong roasts, but that once we get to the charcoal roast, these aromas are gone, and that's as long as you still get green leaves when they open up. You still have the fresh aromas of Tie Guan Yin, but once the leaves remain black, remain very dark, these leaves are gone, these aromas are gone, and then what remains is this these woody notes and this also these roasting notes. But it also has a powerful aftertaste, and for me this aftertaste goes quite well with and a bit of astringency also that reminds me of powerful red wine. So I would say this is much more like a Bordeaux, and this is much more like a Burgundy, if you want. So a Merlot and a Pinot, if you prefer. So you can also use these two teas in the coming week when it's Christmas, if you don't want to drink too much wine, or if you want to increase your options and try not just wine and meat pairing. I think these two teas will be very good candidates to pair with very more gamey meats, I would say, with this charcoal roast, and maybe more red meat with this strong roast. So here you have more options for your Christmas meal and afterwards. And this is and also we have learned today the impact of the roast. You can do more classes by comparing also the strong roast with the medium roast, like the one we had 1 month ago. You will find also some similarities, but in these two classes I already wanted to try all 4 Tie Guan Yins. What is interesting with all these 4 samples is that they come from the same place, Anxi Shiping in the Fujian province. They use all 4, they came from the same spring harvest, and they all use the real Tie Guan Yin cultivar, which we recognize by the way that the leaves are crooked on one side. It is in the shape of a peach, but it's crooked on one side, definitely, and it's a bit uneven, and especially with these roasted ones, it has it feels a bit like a crab skin. This is also an important way and famous way to describe this roasted Tie Guan Yin touch, and that was one poet in the Qing dynasty used this image, crab skin. You will see that it's really not a flat skin, but yeah, almost like crab skin. So very difficult to find the highest possible quality of Tie Guan Yin. Now that you have tasted the real taste of Tie Guan Yin, you are much better equipped to recognize the fakes. Of course, there can be good teas even made not with Tie Guan Yin, but for me this is as good as it gets for Tie Guan Yin, because it's really using the real Tie Guan Yin cultivar, and you can also understand that the roasting changes the aromas little by little up to a point, and then when it's over roasted, it becomes much more about the taste than the aromas. To some extent they are gone, but still very pleasant and very interesting tea. A lot of power that you can brew again and again. I brewed it already 5 times before, and the leaves are even get more subtle. They don't open up like the strong brew, but the charcoal brew will remain quite dark, but it's not too hard. It does open up. This is a sign of a good roast. I got an interesting question in the French class. What is a good roast? What temperature do they use? How long do they roast them? For this there's no answer, because every roaster, every master will have his own secret, and it's not always the same temperature, and that's it. They will vary the temperature, especially now it's possible in electric oven to make the temperature very precisely. But there's one principle from ancient times that they still respect for traditional roasting, is sanjin sanchu in Chinese, which means 3 in, 3 out, which means the roast is not done in just one time. A good roast, the tea is starting to be roasted, it comes out to rest, roast again, rest, and roast again, and then it will be ready and is not touched anymore. So the roasting is an art in itself that we can see has a large impact, and if the leaves are not overly roasted, they are still able to open up completely. So here we have a very nice charcoal roast that is very strongly roasted, but the leaf is still alive. It has not been roasted to the point that it would not open up, and this would be overdone. This is really as far as it can get, but still respecting the leaf and the tea. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tea class. So this tea is only available in sample on tea-masters.com. There are many other teas. I've added a Dongpian, a Sejishun Dongpian this week, I think, and a GABA. So thank you very much for your interest, and see you next year after the New Year and Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. Bye bye.